U.S. negotiations with the Russians and Chinese on denuclearization and eventual agreements are very possible, according to U.S. President Donald Trump, who recently addressed the World Economic Forum.
Tremendous amounts of money are being spent on nuclear, and the destructive capability is something that we don't even want to talk about today because you don't want to hear it. It's too depressing.
During the Cold War, a generation of schoolchildren did hear about it, tutored on surviving a sudden atomic attack.
There's no time to look around or wait. Be like Bert. When there is a flash, duck and cover, and do it fast.
Such instructional films did not illustrate how an explosion could wipe out their neighborhoods. That was made explicit by the U.S. government's above-ground nuclear testing in the Nevada desert in the 1950s.
House number 1 as the blast hits it. On News Knob, civil defense observers witness effects of the blast and the tremendous glare of the fireball.
Since 1945, when the United States dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan to end the Second World War, it has been evident how radiation burns and sickens anyone who manages to initially survive such a nuclear attack. The horror of it all eventually prompted public demonstrations and diplomacy to reduce or try to eliminate nuclear weapons. 9 countries presently have nuclear arsenals, although Israel has never acknowledged possession of such weaponry. The United States and Russia each have more than 5,000 nuclear warheads, 90% of the world's total. The combined global force of all countries' nuclear weapons, according to arms control advocates, could destroy the world 10 to 50 times over. The current treaty between Washington and Moscow, limiting the number of deployed strategic nuclear warheads and delivery systems, expires about 1 year from now. That adds urgency to President Trump's call for talks with Russia and China, notes Shadon Liang at the Arms Control Association.
And because of that, this issue has to be at the top of the agenda. And having a signal that the president is concerned about this issue and thinking about it is very positive.
On Tuesday at the U.S. Institute of Peace, the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists moved the hands of its doomsday clock 1 second closer to midnight, meant to signify the peril from weapons of mass destruction and other existential threats.
It is now 89 seconds to midnight.
While the doomsday clock is merely symbolic, analyst Shadon Liang sees it as an annual important ritual highlighting the risks to Americans and everyone else posed by the world's nuclear arsenals.
It is a good tool for bringing this to more people's attention. And, you can't blame Americans for having so many other issues on their plate. And having this as a reminder, I think, is an effective communication tool.
It has been more than 4 years since the United States engaged in any denuclearization negotiations. Those talks in Sweden between the first Trump administration and North Korean officials did not yield any agreement. Steve Herman, VOA News, at the White House.